Michael Ray Richardson played basketball for the University of Montana from 1974 to 1978. He was the first ever three-time Big Sky first-team all-conference selection for the Grizzlies and led them to an NCAA tournament victory over Utah State in 1975. Richardson set the program's single-season scoring record during his time in Missoula, averaging 24.2 points per game. In 1978, he was drafted 4th overall to the New York Knicks, the highest selection ever by a Big Sky men's basketball player. He had an 8-year NBA career with a trio of teams, suiting up for the New York Knicks, Golden State Warriors, and New Jersey Nets. During his time in the association, he was a 4-time All-Star and 2-time All-Defensive First-Team selection, along with winning Comeback Player of the Year honors in 1985. In 2025, Richardson passed away in Lawton, Oklahoma. Michael Ray Richardson, Montana Grizzly and member of the Big Sky Conference Hall of Fame.
Interviewing Michael Ray Richardson back in 2013 was one of the highlights of my time with the Big Sky Conference. I'm old enough to remember when Michael Ray led the New Jersey Nets to a massive upset over Dr. J and the defending NBA champion Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the NBA playoffs. I was also old enough to understand some of the issues Michael Ray had. By 2013, when he was named one of the greatest Big Sky athletes of all time, I sensed Michael Ray was happy, healthy, and at peace. He was coaching a professional team in Canada, leading that squad to consecutive league titles. I felt profound sadness when Michael Ray passed away last November. For the younger generation here tonight who may not know of Michael Ray Richardson, know this. He was a 4-time NBA All-Star, a 2-time member of the All-NBA defensive team. He was the NBA Comeback Player of the Year. He was drafted ahead of Larry Bird. Magic Johnson once said, "Michael Ray is a guy who played just like I played. Every time I saw him, he went right at me." Magic also said Michael Ray liked to talk a lot of trash, like all game long, talk a lot of trash. He was recruited to the University of Montana by legendary coach Judd Heathcote. Sugar Ray scored 1,827 collegiate points and was first-team all-conference 3 times. As a freshman in 1975, Montana won its first NCAA tournament game with a win over Utah State. The Grizzlies almost beat UCLA that year. We are honored tonight to have Michael Ray's widow, Kim, in attendance. Kim, could you please stand? They were married 18 years. Thank you for being here. And this woman had a brutal day of travel yesterday. I think she was at the airport in Lawton, Oklahoma at 6 a.m., and I picked her up at the airport at 12:30 a.m. this morning. So I hope that you got a lot of sleep today and enjoyed your beautiful room at the resort. We're also honored to have Michael Ray's former teammate, Eric Hayes, here. In that game against UCLA, Eric Hayes scored 32 points, and they almost beat John Wooden's team. Please welcome Eric Hayes to the stage as we induct Michael Ray Richardson into the Big Sky Conference Hall of Fame.
Eric, you were teammates with Michael Ray. When did you first meet him?
When we recruited Michael Ray his senior year of high school, he came to Missoula. It was in April. It was late in the year. There really were no major college teams at that time recruiting Michael. And he came into Missoula, and we had a little open gym session. And I had what was considered, I call it a killer crossover move. And I used that a couple of times against Michael Ray, and he'd never seen it, and he got very upset. But like I told him, I said, you come here to Montana, we'll teach you the move, and you'll be able to play and help us.
He went from being barely recruited at all to now an NBA All-Star, Big Sky Hall of Famer. What was your first impression seeing him play that day?
He's very talented, limited. He had not been, not that he hadn't been coached, he just hadn't developed his skills yet. And actually, when he was at the University of Montana, I got to play with him. My senior year was his freshman year. And the reason he was on the floor was because of his defense. He was a great defensive player, and then, you look what he did in the NBA there also. But he was a great defensive player. He had quick hands, long arms, but he had great anticipation. He understood the game well, and I think that understanding really helped him defensively, but it really helped him later in life when he got into coaching after his NBA career was over.
Now, when he arrived in Missoula, he was just Michael. How did he become Michael Ray?
Well, the year before Michael Ray came to Missoula, we had another player on our team from Denver, where Michael Ray was from, by the name of Ray Richardson. And it would be very difficult to communicate if you had two Ray Richardsons. So the one that we had from the previous year became Michael John Richardson, and then Michael Ray Richardson became that name. And it's amazing, it stuck with him. He was Michael Richardson, or Mike Richardson, when he came to Missoula, but because of the fact that we already had a Mike Richardson there, we went with his middle name of Michael Ray, and that stuck with him for his life.
When did he become Sugar Ray?
Well, pretty much whenever he wanted. I think a lot of it had to do, there were a couple of different factors. I think, honestly, that one of our media people, whether it was the newspaper writer or our radio broadcaster, saw how fluid he moved and how well he did things, just kind of, came up with that nickname of Sugar Ray. But then also, at that time, there was a really good boxer by the name of Sugar Ray Leonard. And so that might have precipitated some of that. But yeah, Sugar Ray was a pretty good nickname for him.
You talked about his defense. What intangibles did he bring to the court?
I think number one was his anticipation. He did lead the NBA in steals for a number of seasons, and you can't do that by just playing. You have to be able to anticipate the player you're guarding, what they're going to do, or recognize when the pass is being made and use he had great length in his arms, and he was able to deflect a lot of passes. He also had very quick hands. Those are things that make you a really good defensive player. Plus, like I said, when he was a freshman, the reason he was on the floor was because of his defense. And if that's the only way you're going to get on the floor, you're going to play a little bit harder that way.
You told me he was also coachable and handled the criticism well. How important are those qualities to the success of a college athlete?
Well, they were very important at that time. We played for a coach that was very demanding. He was very critical, but he also had your best interest at heart. And Michael Ray was able to accept the criticism and develop his skills from that. And I'll tell you what, Michael Ray went from somebody that wasn't being recruited out of high school to a 3-time all-conference Big Sky player, and then an NBA player. And you do that through hard work, but you have to be coachable. You have to be able to listen and recognize what your coaches are telling you, and then go out and work to apply it.
After he graduated, you were a senior, he was a freshman. Fast forward several years, you invited him to help coach at a fundraiser and decided let's play some pickup basketball the night before. What happened between you two in that pickup game?
Well, when I played with Michael Ray like I say, when I was a senior, he was not an offensive player whatsoever. And so when we're playing this, we had my high school coaches, we got together and we had invited Michael Ray in to play with us. And so, of course, I'd only been out of college 2 years. And actually the year before I'd been at Michigan State and had the opportunity to do some open gyms with Magic Johnson and Greg Kelser. So I knew what some good basketball players looked like. And so I got to guard Michael Ray. And that humbles you quite quickly. But we were playing a full court. And again, who knows why us old guys would be playing full court, but we're playing full court, and Michael Ray is in transition, and I'm sprinting back defensively, and I can see him out of the corner of my eye. And I know there's no way I can cut him off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly turn, spin, and take the charge from him. You know, back then we were able to give up our bodies and take charges, and it was part of the game. So I've got him. I know I've got him. So I just quickly turn, take the charge, and the next thing I know, the ball is being bounced over my shoulder. He takes one more dribble and dunks it. And I look and I think, that guy's got some skills. He's got some talent. He'll be all right.
Put you on a poster.
Oh, it was, I'd say, very humbling.
Well, Eric, we appreciate you being here and sharing stories about your former teammate tonight, and congratulations to his family on this incredible honor.
Well, glad Kim could be here.